Hello, my name is Father Charlie Bouchard, and I'm here today to offer you a word of hope, just a few thoughts on the readings for Monday, July 6th. I'm sure many of you have been to a chiropractor or maybe to a massage therapist, or maybe you've just had someone give you a really great embrace, an old friend that you haven't seen in a long time or a relative. And if you've had that experience, you know how comforting it can be, that we really find consolation in touch. I remember I've only had a massage once, but I remember having a massage and the feeling of the masseur's hands on my back, and just realizing how good it felt to have that human connection. And I thought of those times today as I was reading the gospel passage, in which twice Jesus is asked in different ways if he would perform a healing, if he would cure someone. In the first case, it was the official that asked Jesus if he would cure his daughter. And Jesus agrees to do so. And when he gets there, he lays his hands on the girl and she is healed. And that's almost always the case for Jesus. There are a couple instances where he heals from a distance, but usually it involves physical touch, which is really, of course, the basis of all our sacraments. We don't just say to somebody, be baptized, or enjoy the bread of life, or just think about your sins. We always involve human connection and often touch in the sacraments as a sign of God's real presence in our lives. In the second instance, as Jesus was going to cure the young girl, a woman comes up and, afraid to actually talk to Jesus, she touches just the tassel on his cloak. And she said, if I can just get that close to him, if I can just touch this tassel, I will be cured. And Jesus, of course, realizes right away that somebody has touched him, just as he does in other cases. And he says, woman, your faith has healed you. Go, you are cured. So it reminds us, I think, first of all, that God is a God who knows and lives in our flesh. Jesus took flesh in the incarnation, and this human contact, this human flesh, remains a very important way in which we receive God's grace in our lives. The second thing it reminds us is that sometimes human touch can be a very important way of being present to others. We can think of family members who are lonely. We can think of children who need care. We can think of many instances in simply reaching out and touching or embracing somebody can be a great, great gift of grace, which shows somebody, even more than words can, how much we care and how much God is present in their lives. So perhaps today, as we hear these two stories, we can remember that power of touch that we see so often in the gospel, and ask the Lord to touch us in our physical lives, especially if we're suffering from any kind of illness, to heal us and to bring us back to both physical and spiritual life.